Yo, what is up? The Becoming a Bowhunter podcast is brought to you by Dog and Gun Coffee. If you would like some incredibly tasting coffee in your mouth to help get you through every single damn day, especially when you're out in the mountains, then you need to try out the Dog and Gun Coffee. I absolutely love their Samba blend. It is a nice, dark, strong coffee, and that is my go-to every single day. Now, you can actually get little parachutes, which is like a tab that you rip open and put this little pouch over your cup whilst you're out in the mountains, so you can get coffee literally whilst you're in the hills hunting. It's like the ultimate outdoor package, and not only is it great coffee, the company is run by damn good people, and they look after every single one of their customers. And as a part of their little special offer through Becoming a Bowhunter, if you use the code BOWHUNTER, all in capitals, you're going to get $10 off of your next order. That's the code BOWHUNTER for $10 off of your next order. It does, however, not work on subscriptions. So if you wanted to have good coffee every damn month, get on the subscriptions. If not, use the code BOWHUNTER for $10 off of your next order. Becoming a Bowhunter is brought to you by Bowhunter's Domain. These are the arrows that I have used to take down multiple animals. They're the arrows I use and have used for years on end. And to be honest, Shane over at Bowhunter's Domain does an absolutely incredible job. I actually went to him as a young whippersnipper, having no idea about what arrow I should be shooting. And I said, dude, this is my bow. This is what I'm looking to do. And within like 10 minutes, he came back to me saying, this is the arrow that you need to be shooting, especially if you're using this broadhead with this weight. It's going to put you at this sizing, and it's going to give you the most effective outcome on the animals that you were chasing. Now, if you wanted to get 10% off of the Bowhunter's Domain range of their entire shop, use the code BHD10. That's in capitals, BHD10. Check it out at bowhuntersdomain.com.au. Hey there, and welcome to Becoming a Bowhunter. I'm your host, Matty, and join me and our guests as we take the quality of meat back into our own hands, searching the wild for free-ranged animals to harvest as ethically as we can. I interview a variety of specialists from the bow hunting community to help fast-track your journey as a bow hunter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this chinwag on one of your favorite topics in the world, bow hunting. Bow hunters, welcome back. I'm excited to share this episode with you, sitting down with Brett Meldrum. And if anyone follows Brett on Instagram, you would have seen how much of a stellar 2022 rut he had. A mixture of red deer action, fallow deer action, and I'm excited because he was happy enough to talk about the whole situation from pretty much mid-March right through to the end of April, which is pretty much the length of his rut, which is absolutely incredible. And he's got some really awesome stories to share with us, which I'm excited to share with you now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. All right, team, sitting back down with Brett Meldrum. Brett, welcome back to the show, mate. I'm very excited for this one.
Thanks for having me, mate. Good to be back.
Yeah, so I mean, we said we were going to get you back, not under these circumstances, but it happened anyway, and you've got better stories to tell maybe this time around. But I actually wanted to start the podcast off with it's a little bit of an awareness piece, really, because this morning, 3 a.m., I was laying in bed and I woke up and I was like, "Boof!" I just kind of woke up and didn't really know why. I was like, 3 a.m., like that's a bit odd. I still had an hour before I did wake up. And I was like, just lay there, like just go to sleep, dude, it's fine. So close my eyes again, 3:15, I wake up. And I'm like, something's up. Like there's something going on, I don't know what. And I have a look and I see the light shine under my door. I'm like, fuck. So I bust out. My wife's already run out. Like, so we've been sleeping in separate rooms because we've just had the newborn. So she's sleeping with the newborn, I've been sleeping with the toddler. she's run out and followed the light, and there was someone in her house. Someone had invaded her house. They'd come in, busted through, and just they ran out as soon as they heard her. And so pretty much I ran out. I was starkers. I was butt naked. I ran out in the middle of the yard, like the middle of the road. I'm like trying to figure out where they've gone and whatever, but they've hopped in the car and driven off. So realistically, what actually happened is they've gone through my car, and I had my buzzer to my garage in the car. So they've hit the garage buzzer and opened the door up and come straight in and just invaded us, come in. And where I'm standing right now, my wife is, she does some like practice work from home. So she has clients come to here. So she actually had some cash in a Georgist here. So they took money from that, about $600. And then they went up and went straight for where we put all of our keys in just our little hidey hole. So our car keys, our house keys, my wallet, all got taken. So in total, we're probably missing about $750. We also had to place new doors, like put new locks in place today. And then right now, my car is sitting on the front. So my spare key was attached to her keys, which is now gone. So both my keys and her keys have gone, which is unfortunate because it means that my car is literally sitting on the front. I've taken the battery out of it, but it's unlocked right now. So I've taken the battery out and went and bought a wheel lock, just a locker to chuck it in place. But it's just really why I wanted to bring it up is, I've just had the most fucked day. I just need to quickly air it, and I'm excited to talk hunting because I know it's going to put me back in my happy place. But at the same time, I think it's just important to say, like, triple check shit. Like, triple check that you've locked. It was one of those situations where I got home yesterday from the gym. I had my daughter in one arm. I had her bag on my back. I had my gym bag on my other side. And when I've pressed my lock button through my pants in my shorts, I just obviously didn't lock it properly. So it's something that I'm usually so diligent about, and that was the situation as to why it happened. And realistically, it's probably something that affects us city folk a bit more than it would affect some of the rural folk. But I think it's one of those points just to remember. And realistically, the cop said, look, it's probably a bunch of juveniles. Like, it's probably just kids going out looking for fun. Unfortunately, they look for something easy. They just walk up the streets and try to open all the car doors. And this was just one of the times where, unfortunately, my car was unlocked. So, yeah, keep your family safe. Lock your house up. Lock your cars up. Hopefully, my hard lesson learnt can be something for everyone. But yeah, what a start to the day. Yeah, a bit of an interesting one. But, mate, that's not what we're actually here to talk about today. You had an absolute cracker of a year. 2022 was a long time coming for you. And I think one of the biggest things to point out is how much time you actually spend in the bush and how many hard yards you've really put into this year. Because you did the hard work in time, in the lead up to it, and really I want to hear the insights. So let's maybe just take it in order as to when you started, and the multiple deer that kind of got taken out over these last few weeks. Let's just chat it out in general. What was the first deer that got taken over the 2022 rut?
That 6x6 red stag.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first one. That hunt pretty much started last year after the raw. Started working on the access with that block and getting access to it. That was with help of a mate of mine, a local roo shooter, got me on there. And then, just running cameras, man, and going out all the freaking time. Every time I had a bit of spare time, I'd run over to that block and try and learn it, because starting from scratch on a new property.
How far was it for you to get there?
Oh, it's only 20 minutes, not even. But
yep. And tell us about the camera footage. What did you actually see in the lead up to?
Just heap of not a heap, few stags. Like, they weren't even really. They'd cast their antlers already.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got out there, and there's always 3 hinds with young fawns on them.
Yep.
And 3 hinds, or maybe a few more I saw leading up to the rut.
Mm-hmm.
Except for one hind, there's one bright orange hind that was with him, and that was sort of the thing that gave him away for me. But
so she was with him. You saw him on cameras in the lead up.
Yeah, I got him in velvet from the very start.
Wow, there you go.
Moving the cameras constantly, like I'd have cameras on one part of a block on game trails, and would only get hinds, and I move it. I get young stags, and I put a different spot, and I only got him on camera once early, you could tell he's going to be a big one. And he had really light eyes. You could see his eyes are a lot lighter. They're different to the others. And his body size was massive compared to the others. And, I got him in hard antler once.
Yeah, wow. So that's interesting. I always thought that the big boys came in just for the rut. I thought they changed location just during the rut. Maybe I'm mistaken with that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because there's probably 4 stags all up. There's one really good young one. He's a 7x7 already. So in a few years he'll be a bloody cracker.
Yep.
Yeah, but I got 3 pictures of him. They took 3 pics as he walked past the camera.
How good.
All I got of him in antler, and then just hours and hours and hours and miles, and I finally found a wallow.
Yep.
And I hit that wallow a couple of times. I saw stags coming in. It was right on the back corner of the block. I'd see stags on the other side of the place, like different property.
Mm-hmm.
And they never came in on it, but I never saw a deer on that wallow ever. Like you could see on the long grass, all the mud sprayed everywhere, and it was always, dirtied up in that. And then I started finding tracks of actual mud that's been dripping off him.
No way.
Where'd he go to bed from there? And I'd always try and put myself in between him, but never ever found him on the wallow or let him come to it. But then one day where you drive into this place, there's only one way in, and you come in on a bad wind, but when you get to the wallow, you're on the good wind.
Mm-hmm.
And just one time I drove in, like nothing changed, walked up to the gates, walked through, and then next minute, bang, right in front of me, he launched up in front of me.
No way.
Probably 40 metres away, scared the shit out of me. He ran, stopped at about 70, I'd say. I just dropped to the ground and, got my binos out looking at him going, Jesus Christ, that thing's frigging huge. I've never had a red.
Sorry, just say that again. It just cut out when I laughed.
Oh, sorry. I've never had a red stag in front of me before, so bloody shit off at the actual size of him.
Yeah.
And he had this bright orange hind with him, so that was a hind. I'm like, righto, this bright orange one's with him. And then, I just went stuff it, and I just left straight away. I was there for probably 6 minutes, and I left and went because I didn't want to push him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come back. I think it was a week or 2 later, and everything was different. My approach, like really, really slow, steady, whatever. And I went and sat that wallow, and I sat it for about 9.5 hours.
Wow.
So that's how dedicated I was to this bastard. It got me that. I was going crazy sitting there. Walked out in the dark, left it for a few days. I come back to the wallow again, and I sat there in the afternoon. I lasted about 2.5 hours. I went, stuff this. I can't do this shit anymore. I've got to walk and hunt. Yeah. So I started walking where I sort of saw him and that. But on the way there, in the next paddock, I spotted the hind about 300 metres away.
No way.
So I'll just sit back here and wait. 2 minutes later, here he comes. He hopped into the paddock and, started following her because she was on a mission to get to wherever she wanted to go. And I'm like, oh, geez, it's a bit like it's all open ground. And this property, it's all paddocks, and they all got a tree line in all of them.
Yeah.
Like a full row of trees and all the paddocks just where they cleared this block. They left them there for shade, I guess. And they're all full of blackberries and timber, whatever, only 20, 30 metres wide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should I leave it or not? Then I went, you know what, stuff it. You got to make it happen. And I just started running. Like literally when they went out of sight, I got into that paddock and I ran and I popped out of the scrub line and there he was. I saw behind in the next paddock. She really jumped the fence and he's sort of running up and down the fence. Sort of like being a bit lazy, didn't really want to jump over, it looked like. So I started throwing hind calls at him and roars and all sorts of shit. And he's sort of looking back at me and it was getting him fired up. He started like raking the ground with his antlers and stuff. And he ended up going over the fence. I gone shit. So I bolted again into the next paddock and started sprinting again up the fence line with the timber giving me cover. And I thought, surely I'm ahead of him. And on me right, I saw the hind pissing off that way. Like she never saw me, but she just had somewhere she was going. And then I'm like, oh, friggin' hell, I have to be in front of him. So I'm walking around slow trying to find him. Then I heard splashing on me right in this dam. And I walked in, here he friggin' is on this dam having a big wallow. So I'm like, sweet. And I bloody got into like stealth mode, started stalking out probably 100 metres on my belly. Just going through long grass and there's just a tree there. So I'm like, sweet, I'll get to this tree. and that was my last cover. And, it was a long shot. It was 62 metres.
Wow.
Big shot. Like, I practice that shit constantly every single day. I shoot out to 80. And I was listening to the episode, the last one you did with Matty.
Yeah.
And, what he said is so friggin' true. Like, that outside of him, like, there's no reaction to the shot or anything to noise.
Yeah.
If you're confident in doing it, you know what you're doing. It's not like I was shooting at a fallow buck. That would never happen because it's a lot smaller kill zone.
Yeah.
And, this big stag, I was just there waiting, had him range perfect, set the slider, happy days, fully confident in the gear because I do shoot all the time, practice with broadheads on. And, as he started to stand up, I drew it back and he's just standing there looking at the direction he's on, went all relaxed, and I just, breathed, got the bubble right. Everything was floating perfect, just squeezed it off, and I watched it rainbow and bloody bushcat.
How good.
Straight in, complete pass through. And he ran, didn't run, trotted off a bit, 40 metres and just stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm behind those going, oh, shit, what's going on? And then his head started going left to right.
Knew he was done.
And then all his legs and that just started shaking like crazy, and then he just friggin' fell over.
Wow.
I got a picture of him on my phone when he's just standing there with his head down, his mouth was open, he's coughing up that much blood because his lungs are that, because it went through both lungs.
Just double, yeah.
Top of his heart. And, it was the craziest hunt stalk bloody I've ever done in my friggin' life. And it was the weirdest feeling too when he fell over. I think it was about 18 minutes I sat there. I couldn't walk up to him. I honestly couldn't. I could not bring myself to walk up to him. I was just, I don't know, just killing something that big.
Yeah.
Really, but not big antlers, like body size.
No. Was it adrenaline dump? Is that what was kind of happening? Like shakes and shivers or anything? Or?
Yeah, I was shaking like a freaking leaf.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's remorse is the right word, but I felt pretty freaking bad, for killing him.
Yeah.
I was just in awe of the size of the freaking thing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just took his life. It's a bloody big, pretty hard moment.
Yeah, definitely.
But it settles and calms down, and I finally worked up courage, I guess, and I walked over to him. It was just the most amazing freaking feeling. I think I've had him saying something that big on the freaking ground.
I mean, he's an absolute tank, right? Like an absolute ancient beast.
Just the body.
Have you had him aged or anything?
No, not the taxidermist reckons you're an 9-year-old.
Yeah, well, there you go. And so does he say that he would have gotten bigger at all, like body size wise, or he's pretty much in his prime?
No, that's pretty prime. He reckon his neck, when we caped, his neck was 31 inches across.
Jesus.
So he has to go on an elk form. He's too big for a red form, apparently.
Yeah, wow.
So
what was that again? Say that he had to go onto the elk form.
Yeah, like an elk mould for to do his shoulder mount.
You. Wow. How crazy.
Yeah. The reds aren't quite big enough, apparently, to red mount for him.
No way. That's insane.
His neck is so friggin' big, eh?
Man, that is crazy. And I think that's a really cool insight as to what hunting can be, right? And in particular, bow hunting. Like, you went from sprinting to crawling on your belly. And really, it's just like the insights to, I think, some people think you have to go slow the whole time. Some people say you have to go fast the whole time. Whereas I think realistically, that's like the proper approach. You need to run when you need to run. You need to be slow when you need to be slow. And you obviously had wins right. You had your situation right. You had your cover right. There was no way they were seeing you. Sometimes, you can definitely stuff it up. For instance, you don't necessarily always know a deer is going, yes, it's going to go this way, 200 meters. Sometimes it might go 20 meters and decide that it actually wants to go to a diagonal towards you, and then you fuck it up because you kind of get seen. But in that situation, dude, I think that's sick. That's cool. That's just a cool story in general. And I mean, I harped on about it with Matty's podcast that he did on his longer shot. Matty Eland, we're talking about, or Matty White, sorry, talking about the longer shots. And I think if it's something you practice and something you're confident with, go for it. Why not?
Yeah, it's such a massive kill zone as well. The size of it on them things. I said I wouldn't do it on a fallow.
Yeah.
But that was the only opportunity I had on this red. And like you said, with the way the hunt went down, adapted to the situation, what you got to do just to get the job frigging done. And I was confident in what I was doing. I never doubted myself, so I went ahead with it.
9.5 hours sitting off of a wallow. What did you go through? What did you do?
I had over 10,000 photos on my phone. I probably got 1,000 now. As in like trail can pics and all that sort of shit. And there's no phone service where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring as hell. And I had this little tripod frigging camp chair thing I'm trying to sit on, and it kept, sliding down the hill, and I kept sliding off it almost. So it was like hell. It was bloody awful. I would not recommend it.
Did you take bulk snacks or anything, or are you just sitting around?
No, just sitting around, man.
The things we do for hunting.
Oh, that's it. But after the hunt, after that, the moment and looking at the animal on the ground and all that stuff and realising what I'd done, it was funny because the cocky, every time I go there, he stirs me up.
Yeah.
You go, oh, you haven't got nothing yet, blah, blah. He goes, oh, I've got the battery charged up on the tractor for you, just in case you need. Yeah. And then there's a bit of service if I went up to the top of the hill. So I ran up top of the hill and I rang him. And I said, he goes, oh, you didn't, did you? And I said, yeah, I hope that battery's charged, mate. You better grab the tractor. And he's like, yep, I'm on my way. And by the time he got there, it was just on dark, but how good's that? Had a tractor come pick him up.
It's amazing.
Way back to the sheds. Then he drove me to my car, and I went and got my ute and come back, and we dropped him in the back of the ute. And I was like, how good's that? No pack
out. So what, you then just took him home and butchered him up?
Huh?
You just took him back to your place and butchered him up then?
Yeah. If I didn't have the farmer's tractor, I would have been there to 2-3 in the morning, I think, doing loads.
Right.
But, we got to my place and got our tractor, and one of my mates come over. The bloke who got me onto the place, he come over, and, we were there to about midnight butchering him.
So you just went straight to it, just butchered straight up rather than hanging him for the night?
Yeah, that's what we did. I scanned the whole thing out, then we halved him like a beast and quartered him out.
Yeah, wow.
And, we put the whole entire animal in the core room that night.
Yeah, so you just got band saws and stuff set up there to be able to use?
Yeah, but with splitting the whole carcass in half, we had a reciprocating saw, but the blade was stuff, so we did it with a hand saw, a carpenter's saw. We split the whole thing up.
Take long?
We both kept taking turns. Our arms are pretty rooted.
I can imagine. It's what was that, mate?
I took an hour just to shoulder cape him, mate.
Yeah, wow.
It's such a big bloody animal.
Mate, it's just such a huge job, right? Like, and you don't really appreciate it until you've gone through something like a red where they're that big. Like, I can imagine a sambar would be much the same. When you get to it and you're just like, holy shit, like there's a lot of work to be done. It's amazing.
A fallow's nothing compared to a red when it comes to like meat size and that and what you get off it.
Yeah. And so this new block, how big is it?
Oh, that's probably 900 acres.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I got onto the 2 places on the other side of it as well. So all up, it's probably 2,200 all up. All the neighbours let me on their place too.
How good. You're making a little name for yourself around the place, eh? The friendly bowhunter.
It's only up the road, so people like bowhunters a bit better, I think.
I've definitely found that, man. Like you don't disturb the cattle as much. You're in and you're doing a lot more yards in general. People like the fact that you're actually out and walking their paddocks and can report back to them and let them know what's going on. I notice a lot of like the hunters in particular that I've gone with that are rifle shooters a lot of the time will stay in the car, or they're more fond of the car than they are of walking the yards like a bow hunter would be. Not always the case, but it's definitely the case most of the time from what I've seen.
Yeah, no, you're right there, mate. Yeah, and like you said, we don't disturb the stock as much, and it's pretty hard to have a stray arrow do something bad like a stray bullet could. But
exactly,
you've got a bit of an advantage, I think, getting access as a bow hunter than you would being predominantly rifle or dogger.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about maybe your approach to getting, because something like that, a red block is everyone's dream, right? Or hunting access in general is everyone's dream. But when it came to that situation, you had a friend who was a professional shooter on there. What did the introduction look like? Yeah. How did you approach it?
Oh, it took a bloody long time, like 6 months nearly. They're just talking back and forth. my mate be like, yeah, there's plenty of reds out there. I'll see him at night when I'm roosting. I'll try and get you on, and then I go back and forward with him for a bit. Then you won't hear anything for ages, and then one day he goes, oh, he said you're allowed on. What are you doing now? And I said, oh, nothing. He goes, oh, I'll drive out. I'll meet you out there and we'll go have a chat with him. And yeah, like he already knew about me because I'm local. There's always a lot of other people that he knows that know me that he spoke to, and that, so that made it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
And, it's just that meeting, and he's like, yeah, sweet, go for your life. And that's it. But that's the thing, knowing a lot of other people helped a lot.
Yeah.
Just being a good bloke, good reputation and stuff goes a long way, and being honest and all that sort of shit. And but for some of you, I'll try and get yourself known in the general district that you want to hunt in. Like doing the trips, camping somewhere, going to the pub, meeting people, talking, and then
being trustworthy in general. Yeah,
and just, oh, he's not a bad fella, and he's easy to have a yarn with or a beer with, whatever. And don't flood him with hunting.
No.
That's what you say to the most, getting flooded with hunting, this and all that stuff. And what have you got? Look at this picture, blah, blah, blah. Just, don't go so hardcore on that side of it.
Yeah, definitely.
You just work into it, and if you got a trade behind you, I can give you a hand doing this stuff. And, but I find a lot of people push too much of the actual hunting side of it on them. And that's sort of, I've seen it in my own eyes, I've seen it here. And the cocky sort of shy away from it then.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, it looks like another cowboy coming out just to go crazy on the land, right?
Your mind, it's getting the access, and then the hunting comes after.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. I've actually, like, when I've been at my aunties and uncles' block before, they pretty much just called up the neighbours and said, hey, our nephew's just hunting, he's just bow hunting in the creeks. Is it all good if he comes into your block just through the creeks? And like, yeah, that's no problems at all. Like, it's just, it was like a nod of the head straight away because they knew I was trustworthy because it was just my auntie and uncle calling up. It wasn't a, hey, yes, come and hunt my block all the time. It was just a, yeah, go for it today sort of situation. And I think that little bit of extra trust gained, it puts me one step closer to potentially gaining some more area in general. But yeah, I think you're completely right. Like, too many people go too hard with the hunting straight up, and it just scares everyone off. So
yeah, it's hard. They get asked all the freaking time, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be different, and that's why I reckon go to the pubs or local stuff. It's pretty confronting going up to someone's house just because it's a farm.
Definitely.
Just because it's a farm doesn't mean that anyone just walk on and knock on the door. It's like, knocking on someone's door in suburbia. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Just getting your own in the district first will really, really help sink you into the community to get access to that.
Yeah, just be a good human in general. I forget what I was going to say. Oh, it's like a famous person, for instance. Like they tend to shy away from people towards the end of it because they just get swamped by people. People think of them as something different, but really they're just a human. They just want to be interacted with as a human. The more you can do towards that is the better. So let's move on. Tell us about Deer 2.
Right, it was only 10 days later.
I thought you were posting pictures of the same beast. I'm like, oh, he's working this one, but at the same time, it was not.
And it was actually here at home. It was pretty crazy. I was out because I've dedicated the rut to red deer, and I got that done, and I didn't expect that to happen anyway. So I went and switched gears to fallow, and I was on the block here where I live and work, and I wasn't far from my house, probably a few k's, just looking for fallow scrapes and rub trees and all that sort of stuff. So just still hitting the same spots as last year. And I was still hunting through some it was only small timber, but pretty thick wattle and all that sort of stuff. And I was just cruising around real slow and that. And then, I just heard a bit of noise and sticks crackling and all this sort of stuff. And I looked over and caught a glimpse. The sun had moved, so I got myself in a better spot. I went a bit higher up, actually, to come around and make sure, like, wind was right and what I was hearing. And I was sitting at the binos, and then I saw a white ass. And I've gone, that's a frigging his ass. And there's no red deer here, or that we thought of anyway. Yeah. And I'm like, what the frigging hell is going on here? And I looked again, there's a hind with a fawn. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is frigging crazy. I'm sitting there watching, and the next minute I was seeing a frigging stag walking up. And I've looked at him. I looked at his headgear, and I've gone, Jesus Christ, he's bigger than the freaking other one. I use the 8x6, this one, and I'm like, this can't be freaking real. This is bullshit. Yeah, so then I'm like looking at what way they're going, where to sort of feed, like, righto. So I stalked, same thing again, like real slow stalk. And this time, and I weaving in and out of trees and that, sort of looking for the route where to cut them off. And I was lucky enough, I put myself in the right spot from just anticipating what they're going to do. And yeah, it ended up being a sort of semi-front-on quartering wave shot at about 19 metres.
Wow.
I managed to ambush in on him, and yeah, went in, in front of the shoulder, straight through boiler room, one lung, and out behind his offside shoulder.
That's so good.
And yeah, he sort of went 10 metres or 15 and just started doing the circle work and flat on his backside, and boom, down he went.
That's incredible.
And I just threw my bow on the ground and just, what the friggin' hell's happening? It was the most surreal moment. I thought it was absolute bullshit. I'm going, how the hell does like stuff like that don't happen to me? It never has. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is insane. But yeah, just being out there every single day, I guess, ups your chances.
100%.
Every bit of free time. I'm very lucky that I live on a place like hunting and all the places I hunt around here, but that sort of goes down to time, hours in the bush. If you don't spend the time in the bush, you don't have the encounters, I guess.
Definitely, man. And that's the thing. It's like I can see deer every single time I go out, but because I might be there for 2 days, it's a rush situation. It's not always going to come together. Whereas in that situation where it's like where you've got the ability, if you see one, you can back out and not have to worry about it because you're like, you know what, he's going to be here tomorrow or roughly around this area. Like that. That's a big thing to have up your sleeve, but also it just gets you to know the land so well. You literally know every nook and cranny. Tell us about your shot, like placement wise. What were you looking for? Obviously, they're a pretty big animal, but what were you kind of aiming for on his front section there, or were you lining it up with his back leg? Like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, like the angle he was on because he was coming across the pad in front of me. If he had to hit broadside parallel with me, it would have been over. It would have got winded. Mm-hmm. So as he's coming, I just where the arrow is going to go, like where it's going to come out.
Yeah, just looking for vitals.
Now I picked, and yeah, that's pretty much all. Just from experience, that's where I put the arrow.
Yeah.
So just inside that shoulder bone, just on the inside, pretty high up, like where they're just below the jugular-looking thing, whatever it is, on their throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that height, and I picked a spot where I know I'd sneak it in through that bone, and just alongside it, and then where it come out behind the offside shoulder, just on the angle he was on. It all happened pretty quick too, but yeah.
How good.
I've done a lot of shooting because every deer, like a lot of the deer I kill, called in.
Yeah, so it's straight in front of you.
Mate, that sort of front on stuff. But yeah, the broadside wouldn't have worked because, like I said, the wind would have blown it all out. So I was confident again in that shot and sent it through him.
It's amazing.
Through and did the job.
And so this situation, you're on your own block, so you just get the tractor out again, or was it a bit tougher this way?
No, I had to cut this one out the hard way.
So cut him down on the spot?
Yeah, about half of him. Then I was able to get a buggy down there, but the buggy's only small Yamaha thing. You can't fit that much in it.
Yeah.
So I took the cape out with the head attached to the horns and 2 back straps on my back, and it was just all straight uphill. That was a lot of weight in his frigging head. I couldn't believe how heavy it was. And then I went back down and I just got everything skinned out and cut out and hang it all in trees and that. In my game bags, and then went and got the buggy and come down and we just loaded it into that and did a few trips.
That's good.
Back and forth to the core room and filled the core room up again. I've got 2 deep freezers at the minute, completely full with deer meat.
How much do you reckon each of them were weighing? Each of your boys, the big reds.
Oh, that's big. Like, it'd be half a ton at least, the first one.
Yeah.
Like, the friggin', I know you saw the photos when he's hanging on the track, he bloody dwarfs me, like.
Exactly.
So I couldn't, like, when we split him in half, we couldn't, like, the saw started going blunt. We could only just get to the shoulders. And my mate said, stuff it, we'll cut him off at the shoulders. We'll leave his shoulders and neck together.
Yeah.
We both put a hook in him, and we're at the last cut to drop him off. We almost dropped him. He nearly pulled both of us to the ground.
Yeah, wow.
And I'm like, that's freaking crazy. And, yeah, at least half a ton, I'd imagine, lightweight.
Jesus. It's so crazy to think, right? Like, you see them, and because they do vary that much in size, like, that's just insane.
So the second one was considerably smaller in body size.
Yeah.
And they put him at around 12 years old by his teeth. And, yeah, he eats just as good as the other one. And, but, yeah, his body size is a lot different.
These guys, what dates are we talking? This is all March?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I think it was like kind of mid and late March, right? So it was early stages of the rut still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do wonder, like, you hear of a lot of people talking about the quality of red deer stags in the rut being very gamey. I do kind of wonder, is it just at the end of the rut that it really is problematic, and is it only in the really big old boys? I'd be intrigued. Yeah.
I'd say it'd be towards the end because the first one, when we scanned him out, he still had plenty of fat on him.
Yeah.
But his paunch was empty. There's nothing in his guts. So he was sort of getting into his rut.
Yeah, got you.
On around, but he wasn't proper. I never heard him roar, nothing. Just saw him while I didn't hear any roars at all, actually.
Wow.
And yeah, he's the second one. His paunch was empty too. He's a bit lighter on, but he's still had a bit of fat across his back and over his rump and that.
Yeah, okay. So kept pretty well. Just they obviously had not fed.
I've been eating them since I killed them, so
yeah,
pretty much every day except for Friday. I go out for dinner every Friday, but yeah, I just keep eating on them, and that was the best thing ever.
How good? What's your go-to meals at the moment on the Reds?
Just steak, man.
Yeah,
I done a few big batches of stroganoff, which I've given away to a fair few blokes. Bloody love it. Mince, bolognese, tacos. And yeah, generally I just cut it up and steak it and just cook it like that. Salt and pepper, a bit of olive oil.
Yeah.
Have it with me. And yeah, I'm going to defrost some. I bought a sausage maker and I'm going to make my first crack at sausages with them and that.
Good. Which one did you buy?
Just some eBay one, 5 litre thing.
Yeah, okay.
Got a hand crank on it, horizontal one. So I'll give that a go.
Yeah, I'll be intrigued to see how that actually turns out because I was just using my mincer. I'd mince the meat. Then I'd chuck the mince back through and feed it out into the sausage nozzle.
Yeah.
It was all right, but yeah, it took some time. Took a lot of time and effort. Unlike the sausage makers where it just kind of you just straight out.
Fill up canister.
Yeah, and there's that version where you wind them, or there's the version where you just kind of like pull the whole system down and it pushes up against it.
Yeah.
They just look so much faster compared to the mincer. But no, that's cool, man. And you'll have to keep me in the loop with how that goes. So then, did you kind of just change gears then, or I guess you were already in fallow mode, weren't you? Really, this was just a potluck one, the old red.
Yeah, I don't know why he was there. I can only put it down to poaching problem we have a few blocks away, and aerial helicopters is the only reason I think he was where he was.
Yeah.
He'd been pushed out. And
was there aerial helicopters recently?
Yeah, always in the rut down here. Choppers go crazy down here shooting everything.
Got you. Bastards.
Always in the rut because like us, the deer are congregated together, so we hunt them hard. The same thing for them. The deer are together for the rut, so they go and hit them with the choppers. Which is a shame, absolute waste. But yeah, when people are willing to pay for it and do it. But yeah, I find it absolutely freaking ridiculous. But that's just my opinion. There's a lot better ways to go about it than just slaughtering them, as far as I'm concerned. But that's a different
man.
Video for hours going off about that.
I was going to say, I think most hunters would, right? Like most of the crew that listen to this podcast are probably in the same boat.
Yeah, I just hate the pointless death of it all, to be honest.
Yeah.
That really shits me a lot. But yeah, and I feel sorry for all the people who pay to hunt foresters and paid licenses, and then the best time of the year everyone looks forward to, helicopters come and destroy it all.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a bloody shame, but that is what it is. So I don't think we'll ever be able to change it, but we can always try and make it hard for them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it just the more we talk about it, the more we can, I guess, when the polls and shit come around, like the more we can get involved, I'm sure it's going to help somehow.
Yeah, that's right. if we all stick together, mate, we should be able to get something done about it anyway.
Hopefully. So tell us about this fallow. What happened?
Yeah, well, there's the same thing again, like with the Reds. It all started early in the year with the cameras and finding scrapes and finding where they are and all that sort of stuff, because this year is a lot different. They're really in the timber because there's so much feed about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I'd say a few deer around, bit of croaking at first. And then, my camera was pretty average, around 100, 200 photos a night of them just on the scrape does and young bucks and other bucks just constantly in front of it.
Yeah.
I went and checked it this day, and there was a buck running a day when I went to check the camera. Like he just ran off. I'm like, oh, all good, whatever. I think it was the buck in the video that actually almost jumped over the top of me, to be honest. Then, I checked the camera. There's over 3,500 photos on it for the night.
Jesus.
Yeah, bucks from sundown to an hour into sun up the next day.
Wow. That's
and
insane.
days out there. I've never had pictures of them mounting each other, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, and just croaking like crazy, 4 different bucks and all these days. And and then that morning, after I checked the camera, it took me a bloody long time. I started to drive out, and I was always had my hunting gear with me, no matter what, during the rut.
Yeah.
And I saw his back that was on the camera running across the next paddock, and he's sort of going the direction I came from, but a fair few hundred metres out.
Mm-hmm.
So I hooked the car into a bit of bush and got out, changed my shirt, put on my binos and grabbed my rattles and just bolted to the spot I wanted to get to across this open paddock. And as I'm getting across to where I wanted to be on this fence line, but there's all this young regrowth, I'm like, sweet, if I get in there, I might be able to coax him in and I'll have a good view of where he's coming from. But as I was going over there, I actually saw him. And I got in shit, so I quickly backed up and I went behind just this one tree and just had a bit of a rattle. And he's sort of half enticed, but I think he's a bit like flogged out, like tired. He's come up, he's looking around, raking the trees, and I thought I'd rattle again and really hit him hard. Really stir him up and stuff. And then, eventually he decided, after a bit of silence, he decided to hop over the fence. So, I tried to get as much as I could on my phone, and I just dropped my phone on the ground and had an arrow knocked, and it's sort of, I'm behind the tree and I'm looking over one side because, like, right, he's coming this way, then he turns, I had to go the other side of the tree. Did that about 4 times until he finally picked the path he was going on, and, shot him. He's going for a real slow walk. I let it go. I'll use my 20 pin. It was about an inch high of a shot.
Yeah.
So definitely within that 20. And, took out his lungs just above his heart, and that was just one of those right spot, right time, know the time of the rut and what they're responding to.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I think he had been fighting the way he was running across this paddock on his own. Thought, this is a bit strange. He must have been having a blue, so he's pretty fired up.
Yeah.
You could see him croaking. You couldn't hear him that far out. I just had a feeling that's where he'd run to, because that's where I always see him run to a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Having that knowledge put me sort of in the right spot, and it sort of all fell together.
And how was he in regards to like a sizable buck on your block compared to the other ones you kind of see around quite a lot?
Yeah, no, on our place, it was the first double palm buck I've seen.
Yeah, there you go.
It actually has 2 decent palms. Like this year, there's been a lot with full palms, the tips are curling in, and they got rear guard tines, which I've never seen here.
Mm-hmm.
Might be the last 2 years of good seasons, or the genetics is really starting to come into them with all the sort of culling I do, like taking out, the undesirable heads and stuff for meat and all that, and letting those big deer live, the good ones, and to spread their seed around.
How good.
So I think it's starting to pay off now. And, he's a bloody nice deer, that one, eh?
Yeah, man. No, it's pretty incredible to kind of see it all unfold. And to be honest, it's really exciting. And I think realistically, you're just so deserving of it with the time and effort that you'd put into it. Tell us a little bit more about your rattling. So you've just got a set of old antlers that you've used?
Yeah, a set of casties that I found there.
Yeah, and you just pretty much clank them together. Like, is there any method to it, or not really?
Yeah, sometimes I'll hold them in my fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you hit them together, that will sort of let it echo like really loud.
Yeah.
And if you hold them tight and stiff, it's sort of just a duller sort
muted.
of back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sort of learn, because when you think about it, nothing's holding them halfway up where you normally hold them. But yeah, they sort of got that hollowy sound to them.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I sometimes hold them like that, and then I just smash the tips together and just shake them together and stuff. Yeah, and then watching them, if you can see what they're going to do. Sometimes loud bangs will seem react a lot harder, or the silent rattles, they'll sort of look and then just start poking in, or they'll run in. Yeah, I sort of rattle for a bit and stop, I don't know, for 30 seconds or so, and give another go at it.
Yeah. And so their whole concept is there's two bucks fighting up here. I'm going to go show them that I'm big dog instead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So what's going on here? This is buddy.
This is my neck of the woods.
This is my area. Don't want anyone else.
Just like any male. No. But that's not where the story ends. It continues on.
I got another buck after that one as well.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It just keeps going. The rut that just keeps giving. So tell us, buck number 4, what happened?
I was going for a goat hunt actually on my goat block. I was going for a goat or a pig. I was really feeling a pig. I was getting heaps pumped to shoot a pig, and the deer at home were wearing off after that last video I put up. Everything just shut down. Mm-hmm. And I'm just right. I'll give it a break for a bit now, and thought I'd go over to this block. I know there's deer on this block, but you hardly ever see them.
Yeah.
I went for the goats and pulled up, and then you're right up on top of this big ridge is the only way in. And then I was with the binos just having a mad glass, and I spotted some good billies looking for a pig. And then I spotted this buck. He's probably 700 to 800 metres away down on these flats.
Yep.
And I'm looking at him, and from back there, I'm like, oh, shit, he's a bloody good one. And I'm sort of like, got my compass out on my phone, checking, and I had my app on for the wind, and I'm checking on the compass, the direction and all that to be exact. And I went, right, Ben, stuff this, let's have a go. So I just went down this fence line through the scrub, got above him, and just trying to pick a path that he might take out of there, or if he'd go up the other side.
Yeah. Or
if I actually get a stalking on him, because there's a few scattered like blackberries and that. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up getting down there, and he was pretty content feeding, because if you saw the Insta story of him, he was very underweight. Mm-hmm. Like his bones are hanging out of his hips and everything. He's pretty poor condition.
Yeah.
So he's pretty focused on fattening up after the rut. Yeah, so it was the same thing, long grass that we've had this year, belly crawling. Just going, when his head's down, just make a move. As soon as his head stops moving, I'll sort of just stop dead, because he could hear something. Just because he hasn't lifted his head up doesn't mean he's not sensing someone's there.
Yeah, definitely.
When he's back to casual feeding or doing what he's doing, and I move a bit more, I was sort of zigzagging from blackberry to blackberry until I got in. It's just under 30 metres, and there's a few wattles there that had been raked, but that was probably old rubs or whatever. But then I sort of was able to have that between me and him. Then it came to a point where he'd walk out first, which side he'd pop out from behind this little tiny 5 square metre patch of wattles. Yeah, and he just so happened to come out the right way that I was set up on, ranged him. I think it was about 28 by then. And just sent an arrow, blew straight through him, and
good.
He right. And he went down.
It just kind of like a few things kind of stick out, and I think what's pretty impressive is how far archery gear has come, and for you to be at 62 meters versus under 20 meters, and the effect to still be a complete pass through of an animal. It doesn't matter what size the animal is, like whether you've got a red deer or a fallow deer, like it's still shooting through them. It just shows if you've got good placement, you've got strong arrows, you've got good gear in general, you're going to get the pass through if your shots are good. Sharp broadheads. Sharp broadheads, exactly.
Had enough. I've seen a lot of animals walk, taking other blokes hunting stuff from having the broadheads just aren't up to scratch. Really, really spend the time learning how to sharpen them and stuff is so friggin' important.
How do you sharpen yours?
I got on the that jig. I can't remember the name. It's sort of like
work sharp or the workmate.
Got a roller thing on it.
Yeah, okay.
It's got a bit of an angle where you you crimp the broadhead into it.
Yeah, okay.
You set your angle and you just roll it back and forward on your diamond, like stone or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Then I put them on just a knife steel.
Yeah.
After that, made them sharp.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, it's a good device. I can't remember the name of it. It's in my shed. But, yeah, it's an easy something it's called, yeah. And it flips around so you get all the right angles on both sides and that. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it up on my Insta, I think.
Yeah.
I can if people want to know, I'll whack it up in my story.
Yeah. I'll have a little look and maybe post it up just after the podcast goes live.
Yep. People want to have a look at it, what it is.
I'm sure lots of people will hit you up anyway if they want to know what it is. And the other thing I wanted to ask is, so it might seem like a weird question, but what's your belly crawl method? Because I've seen a fair few different styles.
But with a bino harness on, it's pretty different. This one, I actually stuffed my elbows a few years ago doing this. Sort of led with the work. I did a bit of tendonitis too. I was crawling on my elbows and I put all my weight on my right elbow onto a rock. And I don't know what the friggin' hell it did, but it did something and it ruined my grip for a long time.
Some nerve damage,
and,
probably. Yeah.
That happened to my left. Left elbow, that ended up getting cortisone, but that didn't do anything. But a few lifestyle changes and stuff and trying to be as healthy as possible has done a lot for me and fixed all those problems for me.
Yeah.
And, yeah, with the bino harness, it can be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It can sort of be an all fours crawl or just I've put on my bino harness backwards a few times, just flicked it around.
Yeah.
On for the belly crawl, or I'll take it off and just hold on to it and take it with me. If I've got to be that low profile that my chest is on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, you can sort of drag it through the bloody scrub if you want. It doesn't hurt them. So.
And you just trying to always keep the deer in view whilst you're belly crawling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I move if the deer's head's not moving or if it's looking up, I won't move.
Mm-hmm.
As long when it goes back to feeding and it's content, that's when I move.
Yeah.
And also if the breeze, the wind comes through and puts a bit of cover noise, then I'll start going again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, gives you the space.
When their head's down, their ears are pretty much on the grass. So when the wind's blowing, I don't think they'd hear as good.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. When they lift their heads up, that's just to hear what's going on around them, I believe. So
yeah, okay.
But yes, you got to read your animals as well.
100%.
What they're doing, and it dictates what you're going to do.
So, you must be the taxidermist's favourite customer this year.
He asked what size shirt I was. I think he wants to give me.
That's nice of him. What's
$8, I think, at the minute.
What was that? Sorry.
We're at about 4,500 at the minute, and I totally forgot I had a goat there too. Matty said, "Oh, I'll be starting your goat soon." I'm like, "What goat?"
So the other thing that you do a lot of is your YouTube channel, so you're self-filming. What was kind of the thought around the rut this year for filming? Was the plan or the intention to originally film and it just so happened that the timing wasn't right for it, or what was your kind of outlook on it all?
Yeah, I did a shitload of filming on that red deer, but the videos just got so mundane and boring because, like, it's just me talking freaking camera, and I'm like, no one wants to watch this shit.
Here I am sitting again.
Yeah,
another 9.5 hours.
A wallow with nothing in it, and just giving updates to the camera all the time, and I was just like getting disheartened. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is just not happening. And then I'm just like, yeah, it's just one of those moments, like just a hunt in the afternoon last minute, all right, I'm going out for a look, and I just took the bow with me.
Mm-hmm.
And sure it is deer, but if I had the camera with me, I wouldn't have got any footage anyway, because as soon as I saw that red stag, the camera, it would have been gone.
Yeah.
I would not, because I've lost so many friggin' animals due to that camera.
Yeah, understandable.
And I wasn't going to lose this one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's understandable, man. It's hard enough hunting animals, let alone doing it and filming it and making sure that your angles are right whilst you're there by yourself. So my hat goes off to you.
When you're full draw, you can't really move your camera, can you?
Exactly, yeah.
You're coming in. But at the end of the run, thanks to the COVID and all the slow passage, I finally got that GoPro attachment for my bow.
Yeah.
Which I've got to, in one or two videos, I got to use it in. That was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit of a shame. But yeah, like that, looking for when I shot that second one, that was just going for a scouting mission, a bit of a walk around. It was nothing, no intention of anything that day, just how it panned out. But Yeah, then I tried real hard with the filming of the fallow. Now I got some awesome footage, I reckon. I got some nice videos out of it. With the fallow rut, the footage I did get, we got a lot of deer on camera, which was pretty cool, and it was good. I wish I could have done more, but I said, just have to focus on getting it done. It's one or the other sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It's 100% understandable that you'd prefer to take the version that you did.
That's right.
So tell us about this upcoming buff hunt that you've got going on. Where are you going? What's happening with it?
Geez, that's not far away. On after work on the 9th of June, I drive to Sydney, and I'll stay at my brother's house down there. And I've got to get to the airport at 6 in the morning the next day and fly out to Darwin. I'll probably get there around 3 o'clock, they reckon.
Mm-hmm.
And then stay the night at the hotel next to the airport, and my mate will come pick me up, and we'll go out to the station out there. I think it's 132,000 hectares.
Jesus.
And we're out there for 6-7 days. And, it's all river camping.
Yep.
There's an option staying at a homestead or camping on the river, and I said, no, we've got to camp on the river. That's the way I'd want to experience it, because I've never been to Darwin. And, we got water buffalo, scrub bull, and pigs.
Unreal. And so you're going for all three?
I'll try.
Yeah.
I'm happy with just one of those things. But
yeah, how good. And what do you have to do about the crocodiles and the camping on the creeks and stuff?
It's only freshwater on this place, and there's only freshwater crocs there. I don't know if they get that big, but
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll have it all sorted out. Shouldn't be any problem.
Dude, that sounds absolutely wild. And have you done much study in regards to like learning the animal, learning what they do as such for the buff, leading into it?
Yeah, a lot of late nights watching YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff, and anatomy of bulls, and all the people saying don't go for the heart shot, go for the double lung.
Double lung, yeah, I've heard that a lot.
They're quicker than they will blood.
Yeah,
and just trying to prepare myself as much as possible with it, mentally mainly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting because obviously if you can pinpoint your shot enough to have double lung top of the heart, that's obviously going to be great. But their lungs are that big, like they're huge, right? So you've got a big target to be able to shoot.
There's just a lot of practice too about leading up to it.
Yeah, I've heard actually a story. I believe it was Mitch Warren that was saying about this, or it was someone that he knew, or something along the lines of that, where they took multiple shots with a gun at a big buff, and I think they even hit heart, and it just kept going, just kept running. Like it just had so much blood pumping through it, just kept going. Yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. I think they said they ended up shooting like 6 times or something before it dropped.
Oh, yeah. They're a tough bloody animal. It's a bit intimidating going at them with a bow, but I'm pretty pumped to give it a crack anyway, and hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting because when you're hunting deer and you scare them, they run away from you. But when you're hunting buffalo, they all of a sudden can turn around and have a go at you. Like, you don't really know what their temperament's going to do and how they're going to be around you. I think sometimes...
A lot of them... Yeah, sorry, mate, I just cut out there. What was that?
Oh, I was going to say, I think sometimes that the I don't know what's more aggressive, the buff or the scrub bulls, but they're both pretty tender little fellas that'll come at you.
Yeah, buddy, I've been told by a few blokes I know that rifle hunters have shot Cape buffaloes in Africa and all sorts of stuff, and they all say the old scrub bull's the one that wants to kill you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get the story off other people. But yeah, I don't know, I've got blokes that have worked up there on the stations and that, say the buff are pretty lethal, but the scrub bulls are pretty sulky if they get shot.
Yeah, okay.
So they just want to rip you to frigging pieces. So
yeah,
I don't know. When I get up there, if I come back, I'll let you know.
I don't know where I heard this story, but there was definitely a story I heard once upon a time. It might have even been like a hunting camp down under or something like that when it was still going, about someone getting a horn through their gut. Like the bull charged him. I think it pinned him against the tree, and just straight in the guts, and just kind of riffed him around a lot. And Jesus, you just kind of think of the horror stories. Pretty full on.
Bloody happened.
Oh no, I don't think it will. I think it was one of those like odd or rare situations, but it's just it steps it up a notch, and I think there's a big danger really with hunting all animals. Like you hear of, and it's usually in the caged animals or something like that, like the red deer that killed the owner in Queensland not so long ago. I think it might have been last year. A guy who was farming them.
A couple, wasn't it?
What was that? Sorry.
There was an elderly couple, wasn't it? And it killed both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. That's crazy. Yeah.
And I think that was the situation of he was going in during the mating season, and he just was like, you know what, stuff this. You're in my territory. I'm going to go for you. But obviously, like I saw another video just recently I posted on my story of I think it was a deer or an elk running a guy over. Like it was just running through the woods. They must have been doing a drive and running straight to him, just poof, knocked him in the face. Ended up having to get his eye stitched over and stuff. I think he wore a patch. I think he did get his eye fixed eventually, but he had to wear a patch for ages. Like just insane stuff that can happen when you're out in the bush. It's
a lot of stuff can happen very freaking quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it in my work life out here all the time. Like, things could have gone real frigging bad at the blink of an eye, but you just got to not put yourself in, or try not to put yourself in situations where it will go to shit.
I think to be honest, where a lot of the injuries I've heard of actually come from knives. Once you get to the butchering part, people become, I don't know whether they're excited, the adrenaline's kind of hit and they've started to come down a bit. But when they get to butchering or skinning and they get lazy or they're just not holding their knife right, and the follow through gets them in the leg, gets them in the hand, gets them in whatever it is. It's just, that's I've definitely seen a lot of those injuries, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've seen it before. Pig chase and a bloke stab himself in the frigging leg. Not by pulling his knife out too early.
Yeah, wow.
Before he had a pig and the pig turned back on him, and next as he's trying to turn to run, he's put the knife straight in and almost hit his femoral artery, and we're miles from anywhere, driving off every night trying to get him to a frigging hospital. He was all right in the end, but it just happened last day. He's got to be thinking, have your head about you the whole time what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the big bad world out there, hey?
Yeah.
And so what does it kind of look like from here on out? So obviously you go for your buff hunt and then you get home. What do you start to do? Do you start to just kind of prep and plan for next year? Is there more of a plan in regards to what you're going to do for culling animals for these blocks for next year, for making them better for hunting as such?
That red deer block, I'm going to leave it alone for a couple of years.
Uh-huh.
There's 3 young stags there that are all around the 6x6, 7x7 looking models, and there's a rooster to me mate. He's going to do the same thing, leave them alone. He'll take a few hinds out here and there for the killer box and all that work he does, or bad heads. But yeah, we'll leave them alone for a few years. I probably won't be hunting red stag for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And at home, same thing. The best time when I get back from my trip in Darwin is the best time here for me to hunt bucks, because that's when they all come together.
Yeah.
One paddock at home where I took my mate last year. He shot that big buck that we got taxidermied for him and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, so you get a big mob of them that they don't rut here. They're just deer to come out. I don't even know where they come from, but they're here for a few weeks in that paddock every morning. Yeah, it's really hard hunting. We've hunted it 4 years now and only got 1 deer out of it, so out of about 15. So yeah, that'll be my focus when I get back, having a crack at them. Trying to figure out how to get onto a place that has rooster deer.
Yep. Is there any around you?
Go.
Is there any around you at all, rooster?
No.
What's the closest? Up in the Hunter somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard that they're down the south. I don't really want to go down and hunt them down there. I'd rather go up to Queensland and hunt them.
Yeah.
Because one of my mates here, he goes with Clark McGee.
Yeah, he's got some good rooster there.
Yeah, he just was there last week. He went pick up some taxidermy and had an offer to go shoot a rooster that rubbed out early. And he got a nice one, 34 3/4 inches or something.
Yeah.
Bloody nice deer. And, bloody nice meat too, rooster meat as well.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Was between the red and the fallow for you, what have you kind of found? Is there a big difference? Reds are just way nicer, or?
Yeah, I prefer the red, to be honest. The texture and all that, I just prefer it hands down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love them both, but I prefer. Yeah. prefer red a lot more because last year I shot that young hind in Queensland, and that was the first one I ever ate, and that was some of the nicest meat I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So, in red stag, I found if you trim the fat off when you cook a steak, it had to taste even better.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't complain about my red stag. He has been that tasty. We eat it every day, just like you are, and I've been jumping between burgers and curries and like spag bowl or just mince like tacos and stuff like you were saying before. Yeah, and dude, I can't complain. It's so good.
And congratulations on your red stag too, man.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
All that story come through, same as I was like, yes, he's freaking done it.
Finally.
Anyone, I reckon.
What was that? Sorry?
That you've gone harder than anyone, I reckon. Like, if you're hunting and have it pay off like it did, that was freaking awesome, huh?
No, I appreciate it, man. I really do. It was, I think it was a long time coming, but at the same time, I didn't want to wish it away. So, yeah, it was one of those awesome things. I actually forgot to say, so I took those 2 shots, which I talked about in the hunt recap that I did with James. But the first one, when I actually did the biopsy of the animal, had completely cut through his liver. Like it had taken the whole length of his liver, and about halfway through, just half the broadhead's just gone just all the way the length of it. So he was a dead man no matter what happened. But it was just good to make it really happen quickly with that second shot.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. If you've got an option to put another one into them, put it in
for it. 100%, man. I hate to see, like, yes, we're doing a thing where it's going to take their life, but I don't want to do it in a painful way. Like, I don't want them to suffer at all.
That's right. We've all been there and done shots, and you got to do follow-ups or whatever, but even if it's a good shot and they stop and they're still within range and ready for a second one, just give it to them.
Go for it, yeah.
I reckon you owe it to them just to smack another one in there in the right spot, and if you can do it, do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, watching some of the people that have the most films around them, like your Tom Mirandas or your even Cam Haynes and stuff, like I've seen them do exactly that. The deer runs, they stop, boom, another shot. Or elk, boom, another shot. Goat, boom, another shot. Like they always have that follow-up ready.
Yeah, you always hear them too when they're doing the rifle shooting. As soon as they shoot, it's a good hit. You'll hear something. Hey, put another one.
Yeah, reload.
There's always someone that says that because it's just the way to do it. Like this secures it for you that much more, I guess. And yeah, it's you owe it to them, I guess, to get it done as quick as possible. Like a good perfect shot on a deer or whatever that doesn't notice it, and they sort of lay down and go to sleep there. But if you have the slightest doubt in your mind that they've got a bit of energy about them and they stop, just put another one into them.
100%. Actually, to bring it round a little bit again, going back to the rooster, we've just had our hot water system replaced, and there's a Sparky that came in and had to just relocate one of the plugs so we could change our hot water system from being inside to now being outside. And this Sparky rocks up and sees my bow. He's like, "Oh, you're a hunter, are you, mate?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Mate, you know what you got to do? Go over to New Caledonia." I was like, "Why is that?" And he's like, "The hunting there is incredible." I said, "Oh, what sort of deer are they?" He's like, "Oh, fuck, I don't know." So he just started showing me all these photos, like showing me from his trip over there. And just these, some of the most incredible rooster deer I've ever seen, like just huge. And they're just in the public land there. And so his ex-wife, their whole family is like his ex-wife's cousins or something like that. I don't know. But essentially they all live there and they just live the life. Like they are hunters through and through. They're out in their boat every day catching just the most incredible fish, and if they're not there, then they're out in the bush just shooting deer, shooting big rooster, and that's their food, that's their income. They sell them on the black market. It just seems so incredible. So he's given me some names. He's given me some. I was like, man, I run a podcast. Like, I'd be stoked to chuck them on just so we can start to see, because it's a 2-hour flight for me. I had no idea where New Caledonia was when he said it to me. He's like, "Oh, mate, you should go to New Caledonia." I'm like, where is that? I just didn't have any idea. It's closer than New Zealand for me. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, cruise ships go out there and stuff.
Yeah. It's actually
big, cruise boats and all that stuff. Yeah, they all cruise out there.
Yeah, a lot of it's French spoken over there, but they do still speak English as well. But it was actually saying that's where, like in one of the world wars, what happened was they've got the big cannons, because it's like a 2-part, pretty much, where the ships go directly through the 2 islands. They had big ass cannons on either side, so they could shoot any of the big. I think it was when the Japanese were invading. You could shoot all the Japanese down, all their ships. So it'd be pretty cool just to see in general. Like, obviously, it shows my ignorance of not knowing where he even was. But I think it would be cool to kind of. I think any sort of trip like that would be amazing. But within saying that, some of the rooster I've seen at Clark's is just they're insane. They're incredible.
He does a bloody good job up there, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's so knowledgeable on them. Like the amount of times I've been out with him, he's like, mate, that right there, that's where rooster will be. Like, if you ever go out hunting rooster, this is what you want to look for. Blah 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 blah. Takes me through it all. He's just so knowledgeable.
They're different species, really, to hunt, mate. Raw or anything, do they? You can't really call them in.
No.
Sort of all spot and stalk. That's why I really want to have a go at them.
One of my mates was just at camp there one day. He sent me a photo. It must have been 6 o'clock in the morning. And there's just a mob of them. Just a big mob of rooster stags just standing over literally 100 metres, 200 metres from where he popped out of his tent. He's hopped out and he's like, oh, shit, taking a photo. Well, that's pretty amazing. Just like not one, but 6 incredible stags and then a few young ones as well. It's just like, Jesus.
That's the go, bloody hell. I'd just love to see one in the flesh, would do, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm umming and ahhing as to what I want to do next. Like, I think obviously I'll always hunt reds because that's kind of my access that I've got right now. Yep. But then I'm like, okay, well, what could come next? Like, what can I start to get towards? And I've recently gained a little bit of chittle access. I just need to actually action that. It's just going to be a sit and wait situation though, because they just cross through the block every day. And then I think if I can get that happening, that'd be great. And then I'm actually thinking rooster as well.
Yeah, that'd be the go. Yeah, them chittle, they're another kettle of fish too, aren't they? Like deer speed, bloody very hard to hunt too. I watch all the Doomer boys stuff. They're spotted safaris and that, and that'd be the dream to go hunt them as well. But there's only so much you can do in 1 year without pissing the wife off too much. So
exactly, all the bank account.
It's cost me a trip to the snow, I think. A trip to Fiji. It's cost me going to Darwin, I think. For next year to book in for school holidays.
Yeah, you got to keep them in the loop.
Thank you. Go.
My outlook is where can I go for the whole family trip and take my bow? So Hawaii is definitely on the list for us. We'll go there someday, and a few days will be spent hunting. A few days will be out in the boat.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Go.
Yeah, definitely.
Kids are getting older now, so they'll be right coming out and actually starting to have a good hunt with us now, which is pretty cool.
Do they take their bows, or you take them out with rifles?
No, bows, man. We don't have any guns, and just all bows. I bought them all Bear Royales, I think they're called, the real adjustable and draw length and poundages and stuff. And
awesome.
Yeah, no, they all picked it up pretty well, eh?
That's incredible.
So just waiting for them to get a bit bigger so we can wind that poundage up a bit more.
Yep.
So actually get the job done. The older two, they probably could get it done on goats and stuff, but younger two, it's just
not yet.
Not enough poundage yet. So as the little muscles develop, we'll keep increasing it and hopefully get them onto something.
That's incredible, mate. It's there's definitely something I'm looking forward to, and I'm hoping that the girls want to come out hunting with me one day. It's going to be interesting to see the difference between girls and boys when it comes to that sort of situation. But like I know, for instance, I'm from a family of 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. And us boys were always very keen on the hunting side of things. We were just hunting rabbits with Dad, but the girls were just never really that into it. And I don't know if it was because we were kind of city slickers that had gone out to the farm and were living on the farm for that year. If it was just more so that their upbringing to that moment had not kind of favoured it as such. And then all of a sudden it was almost like well, you're out in the bush, so you got to do this now. It was kind of just thrown on them. Whereas in the situation with us, like I actually asked my daughter the other day, I said, what do you want for your birthday, Mads? It's not for another 6 months. But she said, I want a red deer, Dad. I said, what do you mean? I said, do you want to just eat a red deer? And she said, yeah, it's really yummy. I was like, okay, that's great. I think we're on the right path.
That's bloody awesome, man. That's what we need more of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brett, thank you very much for joining me, man. I'm going to call it quits because I'm absolutely cooked today. But I'd like to say thank you again for coming out, and what a cracker of a year you've had, dude. You've done so well, and it's so well-deserved as well. So where can everyone follow along? Where can people see your journeys and see your YouTube channel and everything else?
They have YouTube. It's just my name, Brett Meldrum. And that's Brett with two T's. Then you got my Instagram, which is Brett Meldrum 085. And there's a link on my Instagram to the YouTube channel. And yeah, I post pretty regularly on that, on the channel, and on Instagram I'm always putting stories up and posting that. And yeah, we're going to film the whole buff hunt, so that's going to be a few videos made out of that trip to Northern Territory. We're going to vlog the whole thing.
Yes.
That would probably be the next video, but I'm hoping to get out for an overnighter before I leave.
Okay. Very cool.
I bought a heap of ultralight hunting gear and I want to go test it out, so I want to go do a quick overnight backpack hunt.
Yeah, that's sick. That's cool.
Yeah.
I actually think that's what I want to get into next as well. Just going out to my red block and doing some overnighters where I'm away from everything. Like, because it's really comfortable right now. I go out and I've got the shower and everything else, but it's like, that would be cool.
Yeah, I just end up driving home after my hunts. I'd rather stay out there and get in the morning and that, like.
Yeah.
It's something different. I haven't really done much of it. When I was younger, I did a lot of it. Like when I was 15, when I started bow hunting, I did a lot of it back then. But yeah, I haven't done it for 21 years. I've been bow hunting. I haven't backpack hunted for probably a decade. So I'm pretty keen to get back into it. So bought a heap of gear. Now I just got to get off my ass and go do it.
That's awesome. It's in motion. That's the main thing.
That's it.
Well, dude, thank you again. I really appreciate it, and good to hear some cool stories, mate. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on again, mate. Awesome.
That wraps up this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us, team. If you did have any topics, questions, or you wanted to suggest a guest for Becoming a Bowhunter, you can send me an email at matty@becomingabowhunter.com. If you are enjoying the show or you've enjoyed in particular episodes, please do me a solid and share it around with your friends. If you are not already, please hit the subscribe button, as the more subscribers we get, the higher the podcast gets ranked, and that definitely helps out for showing it to other individuals. If you are not already following me on Instagram, it's at becomingabowhunter.podcast, and on YouTube, it's Becoming a Bowhunter. Get out, team, fling some arrows, get that practice in, and walk those yards in the paddocks until you find those critters. That is it for now, but not the last time that you'll hear from Becoming a Bowhunter.